Okay, thank you. Hello, everyone. Let's continue with Master YongHua's Chanchi instructions. Last night we heard his instructions, and tonight. Let's go over them. They're kind of long. Okay, he's been talking about Master Tao An, one of the virtuous and well-known Dharma masters in China back then. He says here, on slide 27, he accepted a lot of disciples, and many of them were enlightened, and many of them had way virtue. And so, considering what I've seen so far from Master Tao An's information, when you talk about, and Master YongHua's explanation of enlightenment back then, remember, this is in the early 70s, so therefore there weren't a lot of, the level of the disciples weren't that high. So when he talked about enlightened here, he's referring to the Arhat range, I feel, okay? In Hinayana, when you are from first stage Arhat to third stage Arhat, you're considered to be enlightened. And fourth is their prize of enlightenment, okay, or practical Buddhahood. So in Mahayana, though, we don't look at them as enlightened. We look at only fourth stage Arhats or practical Buddhas as enlightened people, okay. So it has, the standards are higher. So here, many of his disciples were enlightened, so they probably reach, quite a few of them reach first stage, the third stage Arhats. Okay, like many of you here have reached first stage and third stage Arhats. It's quite a few of you. So kudos to you. That's a big deal, by the way. It's a real big deal to be at that level because you have wisdom. And you can provide the proper guidance to those who believe in you, okay? Whether as a father, as a neighbor, as a brother, you have wisdom. So it's a wonderful thing you are to society, okay? In a very quiet way. And so it's kudos to you. I'm impressed with all of you. Okay, it's for some reason this is a consistent progression of all of you who stuck around. Okay, all right. So keep it up. And so our standards are higher here than back then in China during Master Tao An's times. And so, next slide. And they also have had way virtue. Way virtue refers to the monks and nuns here when they lived their lives as monks and nuns. They made a lot of personal sacrifices to be monks and nuns. And so we're talking about not one time, but daily. Okay, so they were the examples of what monks and nuns should be like. So it's a good thing. And in order to do that, you have to make sacrifices. Okay, it's not for monks and nuns to have way virtue. Doesn't mean that you have to be famous, you have to be rich, or have a beautiful temple and so forth. Way virtue has to do with your virtuous conducts. Okay, that's daily. And so the future generation looked up to Master Tao An, so do we. It's good to have these eminent monks and nuns, Dharma masters, who can shed light and set examples for us to follow. And then all of a sudden he jumped from Master Tao An to oh, this living Arhat in China. Is this the same time? I believe this living Arhat here is at a different time than Master Tawan, right? Master Tawan is much older. It's not the same era. Because Master Tawan was lived before Master Shena, way before. Okay, so now all of a sudden Master Shena jumped to their story of a living Arhat in China. Okay, so it stopped. Master Tao's story stopped right there. He received a lot of his disciples. He's very ugly and very adorned Dharma seat. And then that's it. Yes, 4.
Thank you, Master. Is this Great Master Shenhua's way of drawing some kind of comparison by this transition? I'm not sure what to make of the hard transition from one story to the next.
I don't know either, but it doesn't matter. Here's the thing about Chan instructions. It doesn't matter, okay? When you really understand Chan instructions, they're usually about 1 to 3 sentences. The rest doesn't matter. And you know, that's how enlightened people teach their students. I'll give you an example. Mr. Buffet, which I make fun of, he's a quite high level, okay? And it won't be long before I can tell you what his level is, okay? When he croaks. But I am intrigued by him because of his level and his achievement, okay? In the business world, and acting as a role model for so many people and a mentor for many people, successful people. And so he raised 3 or 4 children, I don't remember exactly, okay? And I was intrigued by his wife, his late wife, who was a 5th ground Bodhisattva. Okay, current wife is pretty low, okay? What's her name? Susan. She's dead. Okay, but she basically says, "I've had enough of you. I'm gonna find my own path and do my things. I don't need you anymore." And so she divorced him, I think, more or less. And then before she did that. Thank you. She did that, leading to that, her close friend was taking care of him anyway when she wasn't around, when she was busy doing pursuing her projects, and he later married that friend, okay? So anyway, so it's a threesome relationship, if you will. But the point here is that I'm intrigued by her because I look at her and say, wow, this woman, you know, a woman, a pale-faced woman who's enlightened, who's 5th ground Bodhisattva. I said, wow, so the pale-faced people have potential too. Just kidding. My God, you guys are so stiff. Okay. And so I was intrigued by this family. And so I looked at his children. Okay? I noticed the children are not that interesting. The parents are impressive. Children are, Anyway, and so that's it. So that's why I said, so these parents cannot teach your children properly, so they cannot help them reach their levels. Okay, even though 50 is very, very impressive. Okay, And it shows. She does her own thing. She doesn't care, whatever her husband thinks or what other people think and so forth. They are very free-spirited and independent, and they pursue their passion. They do what they feel is right. They both are. But what about the children? What did they do? Because in corporate America, we believe in the fact that we must train our replacements in a way. That's how we replicate ourselves so that the company lives on beyond us. Okay? And so I was intrigued about what he do for his children. And it turns out his children are so unimpressive. And now there goes my potential contributions again from the family. Okay? Oh, well, that doesn't help when you have a big mouth. Someday I learn, okay? But what intrigues me was that one of the guy who's pretty independent, who said, they all pursue their own project, their own passion. And there's one thing he said, that they asked him, what is the nature of your relationship, your communications with your dad? Okay? And again, these children, they all are off on their own. The girl would support the mother, okay, and followed her and supported her, assisted her. And the other two boys, one would go into music, one would go into agriculture, whatever, okay? And they went to Japanese thing. But anyway, one of them said, so one of them related to on the camera, he says, my dad, when he wanted to teach me, okay, it's not like a big discourse, a paper that PhD students write, okay, or professors write. My dad, when he taught me, it's about 1 to 3 sentences. That's it. So we spend time doing things together, and then he says, and then that's the lesson. Isn't it interesting? And that's so Chan. Wisdom is only in a few sentences. The rest is just storytelling. Isn't that cool? They all do that. Look at Master Shena. He's doing exactly the same thing. I'm revealing more information for you because I'm trying to learn too myself. But don't be too attached to there's a continuum or there's a reason for these stories. It doesn't matter. Really, it's just like this is a great man who chose to spend time with us. We have a chance to hear him and just listen and pick up whatever we can. I'm pretty sure that Mr. Buffet told his son a lot more, but he could only remember 2 or 3 sentences at a time. That's all he could digest. I'm revealing more to you. You see, all these stories, every single slide has connotations, has certain depth in there you can go into, okay? All right, so don't worry about it, okay? Why he jumped from that Tao-An master to this? It seems to me we kept suspended because he talked about the Dharma seed and how adorned it was, and all of a sudden he jumped to this living Arhat, which is totally offbeat. Okay, talking about people with virtue, and then jump to living Arhat. Okay, anyway, so don't worry about it. Just listen. Okay. All right. So there was this happens a lot in the developing world, especially in the religious circles. They're looking for extraordinary things for them to hang their hopes and their faith on. And so there's something called a living Arhat. I mean, in Buddhism, they believe that we believe in lots of sages that come to our world. And for those sages, we call them living bodhisattvas, or bodhisattvas in the flesh, or living arhats, or arhats in the flesh. Okay, and the name is Wujin, endless, endless from endless afflictions. All right, endless here, not just afflictions, but he became an arhat because he has endless vigor. This is one of the secrets of the arhats training program, especially the ones who are by themselves, or in like the Thai arhats, the forest tradition, so forth, or the arhats who the people like the fruit arhat in Taiwan, or in China, Vietnam, and so forth. Okay, or the ones who fail to make it the fourth stage arhat because they stop too soon. That's a problem with these cultivators in Myanmar and so forth. They stop too soon, and they spread that to their followers, unfortunately. Whereas in Thailand, they know their tradition, they have the proper tradition, they are highly revered by their disciples. Therefore, the disciples were chosen, selected to be trained, and were not allowed to stop prematurely. So Wujin here actually is not affliction, but Wujin here actually, to me, is vigor. Like you doing Chan Chi right now. Endless vigor. Keep trying and trying and trying until you no longer can. That's called Wujin. See? Doesn't matter what he says. I will turn into a lesson for you. Got that? And this is a secret in Hinayana training. And this is our secret in Chan. And the difference is that I'm not asking you to do for 20 years, 30 years like the Hinayana people have to go through. My friend has to go to over 10 years. Okay? His teacher watched him and guided him for 10 years. And what he didn't understand and what his Thai teacher did for him is that taught him about Wujin. Okay? Endless. I'm only teaching you to be endless for a few days. You don't need 30 years, not 10 years. All right? Because it works for all of you. I see you reaching what they call enlightenment. That's why we don't need to go through the way they do. Okay, and so what this living Arhat is known for is known for healing. He specialized in maintaining the Great Compassion Mantra. The Great Compassion Mantra has healing powers. So he was going around reciting, telling people, I'm going to recite this mantra to heal you. Okay? So advertising himself, advertising his Dharma, called the Great Compassion Mantra. And many monks and nuns do that. They like to do that. It works to a certain point. Okay? And so the word spread around. No matter how sick you are, what kind of illness you have, you could be healed right away. And it's not true. You know how rumors go, okay? Get blown out of proportion. As soon as you tell Xianchun something, the next person is 2 times bigger, and so forth. If I want to spread the rumor around, I will tell Xianchun, hey, and he may look, and then Francis would know next, and then. Okay, so there's no such a thing as no matter what illness he could be healed. It's not true. Okay, that's baloney. But anyway, the Chinese love to hear it. This makes the Chinese Buddhism so impressive. But once you understand, it's nonsense. It's not such a thing. It's people's greed. Okay, and they said these things to made him appear to be larger than life. And so Nanputo hung around, okay, have the spiritual penetration. He showed off his spiritual penetration. And then at the time, there were 500 monks at Nanputo, Mount Puto, and they are poor, they couldn't get away. So see, monks are supposed to live poorly, okay? And this is wrong. If you monks and nuns are too comfortable, nothing lacking, and you just have a little bit lacking, okay? You have everything, then it's like people's life. Monks and nuns should be short on something, like hair. Okay, and I love the photo here of Nanputo. What a beautiful thing. I guess I'll never get to see it. Because if getting a visa to go visit China would be impossible. Okay, not this lifetime. All right, and they're trying to leave this island, and they couldn't afford to pay for the fare, the boat fare to leave the island, and along came the living Arhat Wu Jin, and he's known to be a healer. So people, when they saw him, they made offerings to him. So he had a lot of money, and so he was a good guy. He rented 2 boats to help these monks to leave the island of Nanputo. Okay, Puto, and take them to other places in China. So that's why his reputation even grew bigger. And of course, when those monks and nuns went to those places, they would spread the word. And so he became even more famous in those areas. Okay, and of course, officials are always looking look out for things that they hear about him, heard of him, believe in him, and ordinary people as well. Okay, and so the left-home people, lay people all believe in him. You see, notice one thing: never receive any lay people disciples. That's a telltale sign. Okay, a master usually. A real master usually has his own disciples, his own attendant at least. And so, because the masters, once they understand the Dharma, they feel obligated to find someone to transfer the knowledge to. That's so much more important in temples than anything else. Because the Dharma lives on. The Dharma is in the people. It's not in temples. Look, my master's Dharma is no longer at his temples. Okay? And so you notice this guy here, he's famous and he spent time healing people and going around and enjoy his notoriety, but he didn't say, Master Shena didn't say that he received any disciples, as compared to Master Tawan, who was famous and trained a lot of disciples, helped a lot of monks and nuns become enlightened. And that's what monks and nuns are supposed to do. Okay? So anyway, so people believe in him, so rumor goes around he's a living Arhat, and so everyone was very enthused about him. came Master Xinhua, who was in one of the cities there, Suzhou, and of course, the Arhats, even though his level was much lower than Master Xinhua, okay, but he could tell that Master Xinhua was no ordinary monk. Okay, and so there's a Wu Jin Arhat. He would try to come close and draw Master Xinhua's attention. Okay, want to draw near Master Xinhua. Okay, try to get something out of him. And so when Master Xinhua met this guy, he was wearing tattered clothing, which reinforces, the image of this virtuous Arhat who's detached from worldly things. Okay, so Master Xinhua took a look at him, and he saw the living Arhat was sick, was dying. Okay, so he asked him, "So you are the famous living Arhat?" He said, "No, yes, me. I really don't deserve it, but people do call me living Arhat." Ha ha ha. And so Master Xinhua is very blunt. You see, it's like a teacher talking to a pupil. You don't need to beat around the bush. So you're a living Arhat. Oh yeah, I'm a living Arhat. And so what did you do to deserve the calling to be called a living Arhat? So Master Xinhua is very, very direct and say, "So what can you do? As a living Arhat?" I said, "I heal people." I said, "You heal people?" You see, Master Xinhua very fast. Look at him. So this guy is sick. Okay. So he said, so that's why the question would be leading him to his problem. Okay? That's how they talk. They don't waste time. They don't shoot the breeze. Hey, how's the weather in Suzhou in the winter? I just moved here. Can you, this is snow is very bad. Like right now in SoCal, it is so wet. I don't see how many of you are crazy enough to drive in a wet night like this. You're crazy. Okay, don't do that. Okay, be careful. And so he says, so you can heal people. I said, yeah, I can heal people, but can you heal yourself? Okay? Meaning what? When he asks, it's meaning you cannot heal yourself. But the guy didn't get it. Says, that's why he says, I'm sick? Really? I'm sick? You see? So, what is the problem here? The lesson you should be learning here. What is the point? The point here is that if you have wisdom, you should be looking at yourself first. Fundamental things, like you can't even tell you're sick. Something is wrong with you. Part of your Chan training is to raise your self-awareness so that when you feel the invasion of some viruses, or you walk out there tonight and the wind blows at you and cools you down and you feel cold, you should be able to warm yourself up. That's all it takes to warm yourself up. That's part of Chan skills. Those are called basic self-defense. You have that. Then when the flu virus comes in, you say, something is off here. You nuke yourself right away so that it doesn't get a chance to multiply. When you feel the onset of a chill, you take time out to make sure you heat your body up so that it cannot multiply. And you isolate it right away. Those are basic self-defense. Never mind by helping others. You have to learn to help yourself. It comes naturally. So this Arhat, he should have known. And when he talks about healing others, but he failed to see that he's sick himself, it tells you that Arhat's, fourth stage Arhat's wisdom is incomplete. Got that? People are only enamored with, the glamour, but they don't see the inner workings, what's going on, what really is happening, Just very much like, according to Master Old Abbot, his famous line, this Chanchi. You forgot already? Of course, yes, for. How can you forget?
Thank you, Master. Yes, I specifically remember the old abbot's famous line from this Chanchi.
Yes, what is it?
It's that Toyotas are the same as Mercedes.
Absolutely. And he's right. From the outside, it looks the same. It has wheels, it has a body, it has windshield, it has and so forth. Okay? And they look very similar. It's not that much different. Okay? But it's the inside that makes a difference. It's not the outside. All right? And so that's why this is a disappointment, and it shows the limitation of fourth-stage Arhats. Their level of self-awareness is very low. So that tells you why in Mahayana we're not that keen, we're not that excited about fourth-stage Arhats. Right here. You're sick. You only go around and help heal others, but you cannot heal yourself. You're not even aware of your own illnesses. Okay? Then you're an idiot. No other ways to describe it. Okay? Anyway, so I said, I would have, but Master Shena said her illness, meaning that the guy is physically ill. Because, why? Because he goes around healing others. There's no magic bullet, folks. You heal others, you take the illness, bring it onto your own body. No two ways about it. Don't be stupid. Okay? You heal others, you doctors, nurses, chiropractors. They come on your body. And they accrue. I'm not meant to scare you, but you should be aware of it, okay? So that you know how better to be more careful and take better care of yourself. And the Master YongHua is kind. He says, this guy's illness, if I were to tell him about, his liver problem, his heart problems, and his digestion problems, that is not going to really help him. He says, your real problem is that you're sick of seeking of fame and eventually profit, which is the real problem for this living Arhat, okay, because of this. And you see it later why he's trying to seek, be famous and so forth. Pay attention, girls and boys. Try to, when time comes, you try to be famous, and you understand what this story is about, okay? And so he has his many physical illnesses and mental illnesses he has, but he's not aware of. He chose to be blissfully ignorant about, not look at it. He didn't dare look at it. But what's really below that, the foundation of that is that the guy is crazy for fame. Okay? And when you're crazy for fame, pretty soon you will seek profits as well. That's what Master YongHua says. It happens invariably in the history of mankind, of arhats, of monks and nuns. Lay people, you seek for fame, okay? You're sick. Your body is sick. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Isn't he supposed to have no ego? Why would he seek for fame then?
When he's in this state of wisdom, he has no ego, but he's not always there. And that's a misconception about arhats. Okay. All right. And Master YongHua further explained. He says, you heal others now, but in the future, no one will heal your illness. And no one can treat your illness at all. And Master YongHua says, and he saw this already, and he's being very kind. He does it all the time. He uses his assembly eye and he says, we love to heal others. So I see you continue to heal others. He didn't say, I see to you, but he says, in the future, meaning I'm seeing you down the road, that you will fall. That's what he means right here. He does it all the time. So it's sort of cheating for Master YongHua. He look at you and say, in 10 years you'll be so-and-so. So it's much easier for him to point you, okay, if you ask him, what should I do? He said, I'm not going to tell you directly, but I'm going to give you hints so that you can go in that direction. That's how he teaches. Shh, don't tell his disciples. Okay? So you're very lucky you have a chance to meet with him because he gives you hints, tips on which way to go. Okay? He doesn't do certain teaching per se, but he says, you go there, okay, you go west, for example, eventually you run to the Pacific Ocean, that kind of thing. And you have a beach house and, all the fun things, okay, that comes with it. So that's how he does things. And so he looked at this guy and said, how can I tell him gently, break the news to him? So he says, I know you seeking for fame and profit, which is unsolicited advice, okay? And because of that, you fall in the future. So Master YongHua is very compassionate. He says, you should be aware that you will get in trouble, okay? And I don't know if this is part of his explanation, but Master YongHua says to the guy, to the living Arhat, where he says to fall to him is to create offenses and return to lay life, okay? And it's like going from a higher place to a lower place, meaning that as a monk, maybe we come across as beggars and poor and so forth, but actually our status is pretty high in the real world. Not in your world, In the spiritual world, the Sanghas are the teachers of the humans and the gods. Meaning the gods come, all those big shots in chapter 1, they all come and see her, okay? They have to bow to her. Even though she's not qualified as a teacher yet, they still have to bow to her. That's the tradition. That's how, because they're not bowing to her individually, they're bowing to the position she's holding, the placeholder. You bow to the placeholder, you don't necessarily have to bow to the person per se. We are all representatives of the Sage Sangha. We are not sages, but we're their representatives. They allow us to represent them. In our own inaptitudes and deficiencies and imperfections, we still are allowed to represent them. Okay? It's a kind of cool thing. It's a beautiful system because it's like, in order to help us, to train us, they must be willing to take a beating because we screw up. Okay? We mess up. And for them to call us, for example, as their representatives, okay? In doing that, for people like us, we screw up constantly. So it goes back to them. Master Shena, when we call his disciples Heng and so forth, they're representative of his Dharma. So I look at them and say, okay, your master screwed up. It's not your fault. It's your master's fault. Okay? Yes, two.
Thank you, Master. We have a question here from Katrina Y. Master Emitofuo, I have a question. When I sit, I naturally begin to reflect on my day, and I consistently find myself second-guessing my decisions. I often feel that I might be wrong, and that perhaps others are right, leading to increasing my self-doubt. I find myself struggling to strike a balance between asserting myself and maintaining an open-minded approach, making it difficult for me to make decisions. How can I effectively address this self-doubt? Thank you, Master.
You're new to chant. When you're starting out, you need to learn to not to follow those thoughts when you meditate. When you meditate, it's natural for you to cross your legs, sit down, and then you start, all the past events come to you, okay? Come back, bring back memories, especially the events that bother you, especially like a confrontation with a colleague at work, with the boyfriend, so forth, okay? And so they will come back to you and they will pop up in your head because you're bothered by it. What you have to learn to do is not to follow those thoughts. They come up, ignore them. They come up again, ignore them. Come back, ignore them. That's the drill. That's simple. Okay? That's all you have to do right now. Don't try to understand too much. You do that, someday you'll see how to solve your problems without thinking. Okay? If, on the other hand, if these issues come up and say, oh, maybe it was wrong. Maybe I should have done this, I should have done that. That's not meditation. Okay? You learn to drop it. If it comes up, don't bother you comes up, do nothing. It comes up again, do nothing. You keep sitting there and resist the temptation to think about it. That's all you do. And that's how you develop wisdom to solve your problems better. Yes, too.
That's me. Thank you, Master. We have another question from Ignacio Guerra. Emitofuo, Master.
The guy's in Ireland, he keeps on tuning in.
Yeah. It's not so, right.
Doesn't he work?
Guess not. We'll see. Emitofuo Master, with my family, we like to play a board game where you have to lie so others don't know your character. Would that break the lying precept? Thank you, Master.
That's funny. It's a game. It's okay. Don't worry about it. But you're breaking a lying precept while playing. Next. That's it. Okay, very good. And so for him, this living Arhat, to quit, okay, to go back to lay life would be to lose a higher status, higher stature. It's not just that, folks. Also, I was keenly aware of this when I was at Master Shena's temples. We were disciples of his, and his being a pretty high level thing, not just in the same sense as his seniority, but in terms of his samadhi level is very high, his stature is very high, albeit it's not recognized by the other Sanghas. But in that real world here of the Avatamsaka Sutra, okay, that stature is very high, and we were his direct descendants. So we know we are special, pretty special compared to all the others, okay? And so when I left the association, okay, semi forced out, but I left before, okay? When I left, people recognized that. People recognize that he's a disciple. He came from a city of 10,000 Buddhas. So, you see, in an unspoken way, people recognize that stature already. Okay? And so that's why the lineage is pretty important. Okay? But not in that sense of lineage alone, but in a world where you are direct disciples of the great master, you're pretty cool. You're a pretty special individual. Okay? If the master is enlightened. Okay, so after Master Shena told him that, he kneeled in front of him and said, he knelt, very Chinese, okay? And so he said, if I fall, I beg you to save me. You have to save me. In very Chinese again. Am I correct? 你一定要救我 and you must save me. Okay? Okay? Very worldly thinking. Okay? Transactional. This guy transactional. So he's lost already, and Master Shena could see it already. This guy is too attached to his fame. Okay? And basically, he says, Master Shena says, you are seeking fame, and this guy cannot live without that fame, that recognition, that adoration from his followers, the strangers who follow him, who suck his blood, and he's willing to continue that and to fall. And if so, in a half believing way, says, if I do fall, you have to save me. So it means one half of it says, I won't fall. I don't think I'm going to fall. But if I fall, you have the promises to save me. Okay? So you have it both ways. He's straddling. Okay? So lack of wisdom again. And yes, 4.
Thank you, Master. Yes, I also, my other takeaway is he's not asking how not to fall. It's like he seems like he's rejecting change.
He didn't believe Master Shena, basically. He knew the Master Shena was some real virtuous monk, more virtuous than he was, and probably higher level kung fu. You can tell, the first stage Arhat could tell that Master Shena was not below him. He could tell. Okay, but for him to believe Master Shenghua's instruction would be not possible. So he didn't believe Master Shenghua basically. He says, okay, I recognize you better than me, so since you're better than me, will you save me if I fall? So basically he says, I don't believe you. Prove to me that you can save me when I fall. Okay, because you're better. So I don't believe you, is basically it. But the Chinese way, I don't believe you, please save me. Okay, so don't be fooled by people kneeling in front of you. Okay, and kissing your feet. Remember that, young man. Okay, and Master Shenghua said, if he really believed me, that he was sick, and that his illnesses weren't being treated, he's not taking care of his many illnesses, then I could have taught him. I could have helped him already. Master Shenghua is very kind, okay, very compassionate. He saw this big problem. He saw this guy who has talent, okay, who has aspirations to help others. It's a good thing. Master Shenghua saw good things in this guy. That's why he tried to help him. Okay, if this living Arhat were wiser and had better foundation, he would have asked to be taught to fix his problems instead of ignoring his problems. Okay, and so Master Shenghua says, this is his way of saying. He didn't say it like he didn't believe me. But he says, he clearly on the surface, to everyone, there's something that everyone can understand, can see, and this guy is so attached to fame. He's not going to give up. Okay? The recognition from others and the small offerings from others, that's important to him. Okay? So he really believed it. And because part of it is, he says, I want to be famous. I'm proud to be of my fame. I'm more famous than you, okay? And therefore, why should I follow your path, okay? Didn't believe Master Shenghua at all. So you see, that's a danger of building your samadhi power or your spiritual powers excuse me, without the proper foundation. And it's very difficult to undo that. Okay? And it's a typical example of this guy. Very much like where I came from as well. We have certain attachments that's very difficult to undo. Okay? And now it's virtually impossible to change it because you become a fourth-stage Arhat. You think you're so cool, and every day you have people telling you, oh, you're so special, you're just so wonderful. Thank you for saving my life. How are you going to change? And you forget about the reason you're doing this because you want to become enlightened, not for you to save 10 people, 20 people, 100 people. When you enlighten, you save thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people, not 10 people, not 100 people, not 1,000 people. Okay? So that's not having the proper teacher, because the teacher's job is not just to teach you all the samadhi and this thing here, but it's to pave the way for you to go very, very far. I put it in terms of laying the foundations. If you don't have the proper foundation, you will stop. You can no longer build up. And that's one of the weaknesses I see in Master Shenghua's teachings, that I'm not letting it happen to you. Okay? Lay people, left home people, I don't care. It's not going to happen to you because I'd rather scold you, beat you up, and piss you off, and you quit and you leave, okay, on your own, rather than you coming here and me indulging in you so that you be like him, be like them. Not good enough for me. Okay? So a lot of the cultivation is invisible to you. You are without you knowing it, excuse me, you're building that foundation for you to grow and grow. And it just happens naturally. If you have the proper foundation and the seeds are there, it just happens. Okay? All right. And so Master Shenhua, typical of him, he says, okay, you ask for it, I will help you. I will give it to you. Okay? So he says, very strange situation for him. So later he arrived in Hong Kong and he saw this Arhat again, and he returned to lay life. He was no longer a left home person. He didn't go into why, okay, whatever the reasons. And so he says, hey, what's happening to you? And why do you stop being a living Arhat? Okay, how do you give up your monk's garb? And he said, oh, it's all your fault. He said, you predicted I fall, so that's why I fell. If you didn't say I would fall, I would have not fallen, I would not have become like this. It's all your fault. Okay? And I did fall like you predicted. So Master Shenhua jokingly, and he says, okay, so you're right. And what do you want? A kid who is throwing tantrums, blaming you, probably manic living Arhat. The point is that, folks, if you find people who are constantly blaming you when they're afflicted, they're manic. Okay? It's not much you can do. Yes, sir. One. You know anyone like that?
Yeah, sure. Master, does it say in the story like how he had the wrong foundation to end up that way? To go that far as that high level, but how did he have the wrong foundation to begin with?
Yeah. He says his teacher didn't prepare him properly. It's a teacher's job to make sure that you're not hampered by bad foundations. Very much like if you're an architect and you to build a 100-foot story, you want to make sure, even if the owner doesn't understand it and bitches about how long it takes, how expensive it is, you still need to build a proper foundation because you put a stamp on it. This is my design. Okay? And so this guy here clearly is manic as well, I think. And then, so Master Shenhua took it in stride and said, okay, you're right. I did predicted your downfall. I also promised that I would save you, would help you. So let me help you. Okay, so how about becoming a monk again? He says, yeah, I like to, but I don't have enough money. Okay, I didn't realize becoming a monk is so expensive. What happened to all his devoted followers? They disappeared. He couldn't have called any of them and say, remember me? I helped you solve, fix your illness. Now I want to become a monk again. Would you like to sponsor me? Give me a few bucks. It wouldn't be long. He'll have plenty of money to build a temple again. But this guy is very proud. You see, that's the nature of fame. It's very, very short-lived. It's a beautiful story of fame. Fame is an illusion. People like you, adore you. It's but an illusion. When it comes down to it, it does nothing for him. He saw no value in it. No relationships. See that? People seek fame, recognition, but there's no one behind it. Then you can have a relationship. That's sad. Agree? Yeah? So he says, it's so sad to see someone, I have no money to become a monk. That's very empty. Yeah. All the people you saved, no one cares about you. He never have a good relationship with anyone. It's sad. Yes, too.
Thank you, Master. Katrina has another question. Master Emitofuo, if a person becomes a hypnotist to help others understand their subconscious and to help them resolve their life problems, will the hypnotist become ill or fall?
Possible. When you help others, you must pay a price. You don't help others, not a problem. But if you can help others, you have to be prepared to pay the price. Okay? Nothing is free in life. Yeah, when you want to help others, you must take on their burden. You can't say, I help others, but let the bodhisattvas take on my burden. Doesn't work like that. So I said, you don't have money, I'll give you money. Okay. See, it turns out the guy that he doesn't have any relationship with, that he met only very shortly and he didn't believe in, is actually the guy who helped him. And the world has plenty of people like that. Relax, man. Plenty of nice people around. It's okay to ask for help. But the guy is too proud. You know, it's not just much as Shenhua, but he's so proud. He says, I'm famous. You know, I'm not going to ask for help. Be real. We all need help. We all need a lending hand sometimes. It's okay. It makes you more humble. There's sunny days, there's rainy nights like tonight. Well, you need some help. All right? Relax, man. And so Master Shena helped him live a home life. And people came back right away and sucked his blood. Okay? That's the story of this guy. And so how did they do it? Every day after morning ceremony, they would come bow to him. Evening ceremony, they would come bow to him as well. That's what the Asians do, by the way. They come bow to you. Don't be too excited. That's it. Yeah? And originally, Master Shena says, I knew he wanted to seek me out and to be associated with me, okay, to take advantage of me, but I didn't bite, and so he had to be on his own. And so after I helped him to become a monk again, he says, be careful, don't fall again. But guess what? He probably will fall again. No foundation. What are you going to do? Oh, you see? He ran away again. And this guy is pretty impressive. You see, he set sleep, ate one meal a day, so he's very rigorous, very virtuous, and he still fell. So Master Xinhua says, it's not easy. Okay, and so for you to stick around for this long and to tough it out under very tough circumstances, and you did very well. All of you. Okay, hasn't been an easy road, but you tough it out. And it's kudos to all of you. Okay. Okay. All right. Any questions here? Yes, too.
So, Master, about the living Arhat, probably Great Master Shenhua already knew that he will fail, yet he helped him.
Mm-hmm.
Is it just out of compassion, or do you think there was a chance for him to maybe become wiser?
We all learn from mistakes. We all learn from failures. So Master Xinhua even though he knew that this guy would not last, but becoming a left-home person is such a good thing to do. You create tremendous benefits for yourself, blessings for yourself. So that he saw from his perspective, he saw that his helping the living Arhat become a monk again would be more beneficial for him than if he were to stay as a lay person. So that's why Master Xinhua helped him again. Okay, that's point number one. Point number two is that Master Xinhua is a great bodhisattva. When you ask him for help, he'll help. Okay, that's one of the things he taught his disciples, which I don't subscribe to. That when living beings come and ask you for help, you help automatically. And my attitude is that if I help them so that they go back and continue to create more offenses, am I helping them to get better, or am I helping them to fall? Okay, so that's why I differ from my teacher. I'd rather not help. I'd rather help one or two instead of helping thousands or hundreds of thousands who come back and keep on creating more problems. Okay? That's where I differ from my teacher. My teacher is a true bodhisattva. I'm calculating. No. Okay? I have a problem with it. Yeah. He would use to, people would come to him, he would use to heal them. Like this living Arhat, he healed them automatically. And he come back and then came back and yelled. He has more strength to yell at his children, his wife, and so forth. That to me doesn't make sense. All right, Korean YouTube question.
입성문 홍일님 질문입니다. 지난달에 아버지가 돌아가셨습니다. 그 후 얼마 뒤 꿈에 아버지가 나타나셨습니다. 꿈속의 아버지는 아무 말씀 없고 빤히 저를 쳐다보기만 하셨습니다. 그 순간 아버지의 죽음 이후 절차가 어떤 문제로 인해 차질을 빚고 있는 건 아닌가 하는 생각이 들었습니다. 그 절차가 저의 문제로 인한 건 아닌가 하는 걱정이 듭니다. 정말 꿈속에서 느낀 것처럼 아버지에게 어떤 어려움이 생긴 건 아닌지 궁금합니다.
Last month, my father passed away, and few days later, my father appeared in my dreams. And in my dreams, my father didn't say anything. He just looked at me. And in that moment, maybe after my father's death, some process is occurring problems because of my problems. So that thought occurred in me, and I want to know that is my father in some kind of problem as I felt in my dreams?
I thought your father is still alive, Xin, XP.
Sorry, this is Hong Il-moon's question.
Who is that? Do I know this person?
He's a man coming to JC.
Okay.
Maybe you haven't met him personally?
How come I haven't met him yet?
Hello, can I add something?
Yeah, go ahead. Add something, 5 fingers.
Mr. Moon, he hasn't come to temple that often, but he started doing the chant practice since last year. He came to, like, for example, other temples when we had some chant classes from different places because he lives very far away. He's in his 50s and he couldn't hold a regular job because he had to take care of his ill father. And finally, his father passed away. Yeah, so you haven't met him yet.
Okay. I don't make it a practice to answer questions about, where is my father? Where is, whatever. Okay. And they die, they die. I don't have the ability to look at everyone's case. But if they're worried, they should go to the temple and get some help. Okay, go to a Korean temple, do a 49-day thing at the Korean temple. That's what Buddhist disciples are supposed to do. Okay? Good luck to him. Yes, go first.
Thank you, Master. I just want to say, with my deepest gratitude and appreciation, to say thank you for Master and the Sangha and our Dharma brother and sister here for helping me throughout my fasting. Today is my last day, and I broke my fast today. Even though you're not here, Master, but on the day that transition between the 8 and 9 is my hardest day. And I remember I was in so much pain and nausea all night. And I remember your Billion brought the ointment that you brought to us. I apply it, and I don't have enough strength to pull the blanket to cover myself, but right after that, I was able to fall into sleep. And thank you with everything. I feel like I have another family away from home.
Okay.
Thank you, Master.
Thank you. Don't die.
I feel like I can do more, but I have to have a party to run in 2 days, so.
Yeah. Recover, Recover. And some people, I know some of you have been fasting, and I'm impressed. It's a lot of suffering that you must endure. Fasting is a very painful process. And please remember, no fasting at driving. Don't fast and drive. Absolutely not. Okay? You cannot drive when you fast because you can pass out and you get a car accident. Okay? Don't do it, please. Be careful. Not worth it. Okay? But it's the fasting thing here is a real suffering that very difficult for you. A lot tougher than people realize. So So I'm grateful that you all tried and keep practicing it. It's very good for you. Yes, too.
And thank you, Master. You have a question from Sarah. It must be a different Sarah than a Chinese Sarah. Okay. Oh, Singapore. Sorry about that. Sarah in Singapore. Master, how about becoming a professional astrologer or a tarot card reader? I am considering for this profession.
Very good. Okay, why not?
But
Is
my
there a
style,
few
my,
more?
my style is not to do any fortune telling or to read people's fate or to help them decide things, but to help them see their life challenges and help them to understand their potential and patterns. Is this a good career path?
Yeah, it could be a good career path. In China, to Singapore, which is not that far from China, you go to China, you see a lot of these Chinese fortune tellers everywhere in the marketplaces, right? And many of them are blind.
Many of them are blind.
And they're very good.
Blind,
They're very good. They don't need to see you, but they look at you. And they see, they're so accurate.
Oh my gosh.
And Master Shena made a comment about that. This didn't come from me. The story didn't come from me. Okay, I didn't invent this story. Master Shena says, if for you, a lot of these great fortune teller people, okay, they're able to see in the future. In the Chinese word is Tian Ming. Tian is heaven. Ming is command, or Ming Ling, the Ming. Okay? Heavenly command, the God's command, the edict from the heavens or the edict from the emperor. Okay? So they can see the future. So in order to do that, okay, they are revealing the heavenly edicts, the secrets from the heaven. And therefore, eventually, they have to pay the price. The consequence is that they can no longer see. Isn't that interesting? So that's why I cower when people ask me, where are my parents? And I say, it's Tian Ming. And I'm supposed to tell you so that I become blind down the road? You understand my reluctance to go into these things. I'm a chicken. Okay? So for this lady Sarah, who in Singapore, who wants to go into that kind of thing, yeah, it's good. It's a lot of fun. Okay? You can learn it. My take of it is this. Okay? Many of these skills are very, very good because they are created by bodhisattvas as a way to train their disciples on the way of wisdom. And over time, it became like commercialized. Okay? It was never meant for you to make a living of it. Okay? Now later generations, okay, so I have this and I need to feed my wife, my children. What I'm going to do? So they started charging for it. So it became a profession. I don't think it was meant to be a profession. Okay, first of all. Okay, wisdom is not for sale, folks. When you sell wisdom, it's no longer wisdom that you're selling. Okay? Similarly, you sell ideals, make America great again. It's not what it sounds. When are the Americans going to wake up to this? If whatever they do to you, eventually they said, can you make a donation or subscribe to this? It's commercial. There's no ideals behind it. Yes, sir. 4, defend yourself.
Thank you, Master.
Are you a MAGA supporter too?
Well, first things first, as your humble YouTube narrator, I would never ask to buy your likes or subscribes to help others encounter the proper Dharma, only if this video helps you and you'd like to potentially help others.
That's an exception. As money is not mentioned, it's we can stretch it a little bit. I'm serious about this. When will people wake up? It's all a lot of sales pitches. In the end, it says, will you make a donation? That is not pure. It's commercial. And I don't know why these poor Americans are so crazy that we keep on donating all these, Trump and all those people who, whatever they say, it all doesn't matter to them as long as they get donations. And it works. Okay? It's so sad. Yeah. Anyway, continue 4.
Thank you, Master. To your second question, no, I'm not a MAGA supporter unless that acronym stood for Make America Greater Already, which it does not.
So American.
I will say, to your point, the great people of Colorado, it appears, have woken up. So thank you for mentioning it.
Yeah. Now we go into politics again. It's hard to avoid it. Okay. Anyway, either go to politics or criticize Christian God. Poor Daniel, he keeps on coming and got abused. But the girlfriend gives him no choice. Either come with me or I divorce you. I mean, yes, Jane, yes, give her a microphone.
Thank you, Master. This question is totally non-political, non-religious, and it's all about cultivation. Yeah, seriously. So for the past 2 days, I feel the whole leg and starts from the lower leg all the way to almost the hip. I feel the pressure in both legs. And it's not pain, it's not sore. It's just that kind of weird discomfort. And yesterday I can sit, I really struggled to sit through your Dharma talk. Would you please advise or explain to what is going on?
Oh no, is all I have to say. What, you want me to use my heavenly eye to look at what? Didn't I just give you a general answer already? I ain't looking. If I had one, I ain't looking. I don't want to go blind.
Oh, I thought you were going to say sit longer or go fasting or something.
Endure.
Thank you.
Okay, so going back to Singapore, Sarah, okay, it's very difficult to separate the money part from that knowledge thing there, and it has some consequences. So, no, I would not encourage you to go into that as profession or even as a hobby, number 1. Number 2, if you really have interest in doing that, you should do chant. And eventually you have, and that should not be a goal, but naturally and eventually you will open your heavenly eye and you see those things naturally. You don't need all those techniques out there. It's not that good. Okay? Yeah. You want 100% sure. You don't want to be 50% or 80%. And that adds confusion to your life. Yes, 1.
Master, does eating food block qi or block the blood flow of the blood in people?
Yeah, you could. Yeah, if you eat the wrong stuff. Okay.
So the way you guys eat at the temple, that's the proper way to eat as far as cha meditation.
No. I object to that. It's a good diet, okay, and it's very, it's a lot healthier than adding a lot of salt and grease and oil and stuff. Okay, in general, all those things. The Chinese has a wisdom. It says, if you seek a flavor, your body will be sicker. There's a reason behind it. And now it's clear with this, what they call a detox diet, where actually you don't eat, you avoid eating a lot of things that are bad for your body. So actually, very quickly, many of you felt better when you ate like that. Yes or no? Well, at least 1, 2, 3. What happened to this insurance? We should stop tomorrow. Okay, and so it's very useful because a lot of your energy is diverted to digestion, for digestion, and therefore, if you eat the wrong stuff, it saps, it draws a lot of energy away from your cultivation. Okay, so it's very helpful when you eat leaner and cleaner during the Chanqi. But am I like crazy about that? No, I'm not. Okay, because it's good for some people. For example, the people who are taking medication so they cannot fast. But if you can fast, it's much better. Fasting is far more effective way to detox yourself and cleanse your system. This is good, okay, for as an introduction, but and a good thing to learn about what's clean and good for you based on the Chinese medicine, Eastern medicine wisdom. Okay, that's good to know, but no, I prefer to fast. I'm a crazy guy. I'd rather fast and then go crazy. And that I call mi way. If you're like this, like even keel, like, oh, you don't eat bad stuff, then I don't see it as mi way. I see a conservative way. I'd rather go crazy and then clean, crazy and clean. Okay? This is my personal preference. So every now and then I do detox because it's part of me either way. Okay, but I want a full spectrum. I don't want just, I'm going to devote the rest of my life eating clean forever. It's too much. It's too extreme. It's okay to try, okay, and experiment. But not always for me, not me. Very much like I don't want to fast for too long anyway, okay? It's too much pain. You're crazy. Okay? How Jeju Island girls, how many more days you have? Look at them, they look so excited.
Well, 4 days to go, Master.
4 days to go. Did you hear the sigh? And I want you to think about how difficult it is, 4 more days to go, that you have to put up with. Very much like when we are a bitch and people have to put up with our bitchiness. Okay? Yeah. It makes us more humble and less bitchy. See? Now they're paying attention. You see that? The thing that I like about the fasting Dharma is that it hurts. It really, really hurts. Okay? It's not for weak people. It really hurts. But one of the lessons I learned from that is that when it hurts so much, then you look at yourself and say, I hate this. No one hurting will say, I love this, except for Jungin Sunim. Okay? He wants 40 days. The guy is crazy. Okay? It's extreme. Okay? But the one lesson I want to teach you, I like about this hurting Dharma here, the pain Dharma, is that because it hurts so much, that you become kinder because you don't like it and you don't want to hurt others because you don't like it yourself. So you think twice about inflicting that kind of pain, extreme pain on others. That's what I learned from that Dharma. I like it for that reason. Because I hate it. I hate hurting this much. And I realize that I'm capable of hurting people the same way as well. So put the brakes on me. That's the middle way. Hurt them, but not too much. Life, to me, is wonderful because it has a whole spectrum. Go from Magga to Magga is a me great, right? Me greatest. And then to me is lowest. Me like ants, like Master Shena. Okay? That's middle way, folks. Middle way is meant for you to be right there in the middle and too scared of moving away from it. You experience everything. All right? That's what you're supposed to learn. That we have limits, that we fail. Okay? We have to be kind to ourselves and be kind to others, because if you don't like the way you're hurting, you are capable of hurting them that way yourself. If you experience that kind of pain, you can inflict it upon others. Let me remind you. Better believe it. Every time you experience extreme pain like this, you can make others experience that yourself. You become that powerful. That's why you have to learn to be kinder and more compassionate, naturally. Yes, 2.
Master, this is probably the last question, maybe. Nacho has another question. Master, is there any sport that is bad for our cultivation?
Any sport?
Yes.
I tell you, this one thing I like. Boxing. You destroy someone's face. The brutality is incredible. The objective, the only objective, main objective is destroy someone's eyes and face and jaws and nose and teeth. I love it. Is there any other sports? I love things like violent things, like, closer to real life, to the real deal. Okay, sports I love, like football, is such a fantastic game. Brutality you have, violence you have, cunning you have, really killing others. You have, it's such a cool sport. That's why they all are in there for maybe few years, running back 3 years to 5 years, and then quarterback a little bit longer nowadays. But it's very short-lived because you die, man. You come here, it's a house of pain and death. Yes, for. So what kind of sport do you think would be acceptable? I love violent sports. I don't like the soft ones, like
I think
pong ping.
I do like ping pong, Master. I think most all sports are good to go. The one sport that came to mind when Nacho asked that question to me that I would personally, I mean, I don't have the money to play it, but polo seems like one I would avoid because you're riding a horse to play it, and I would not want to be that horse in that sport. And I know that many times the wealthy people who play polo, they have to get a new horse during the match for different reasons. So that's one I would steer away from personally, and horse racing. But that's,
Oh, you're missing out on the fun of riding horses. It's fun. The speed and it's so much fun. So in general, I'm for all kinds of sports, as long as you're not harming anyone, you're not hurting anyone. Okay, it's good. And in particular, don't hurt yourself. For example, skiing is very dangerous. Rock climbing is very, very dangerous. You hurt yourself. And those are very dangerous things where you keep on pushing and pushing and push yourself, and one day it snaps. Okay? So I think all sports are good when there's moderation. All right. Yes, Jane Clymer.
Oh, I just have a facetious comment on horseback riding or sports related using horses, because I think it's a tradition before the invention of mountain bikes. Because you walk around in the woods and you ride on the horse, you feel the excitement of the speed.
Yeah.
But now you see mountain biking becomes more popular than, say, horseback riding.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but I don't know what happened to our cultures. When I was growing up, I have these images of the knights in shining armor mounting this beautiful horse to come and save a damsel in distress, and and the duel there, and they stick the thing, the lance. Jousting. Thank you very much. You go to those restaurants, and then before the thing, and the lady would tie her scarf on top of the thing. I love those things.
But by the time I grew up, it was only the Marlboro Man.
And they don't make movies like that anymore. Now it's so cheap, chasing around the streets of San Francisco. No horse even. Force are good, I feel, yes, but be careful, don't hurt yourself, please. That's the main thing. Your Chan practice is very important. Do not allow anything to interfere with that. Okay? Physical exercise is important. Sports is important. It's a good thing to do sports. I don't have a problem with the monks and nuns doing sports either. Okay? Typically, we don't, because there's competition. So there's a winner and losing. But in my environment, I don't care. Okay? All right, I'm more concerned about your getting a balance between the spiritual work and then the physical exercise. There should be a balance. Okay. All right, we stop here tonight. Thank you all. See you next time. Hang in there, girls, Jeju girls. You look so miserable.